I scaled a brand new, boring B2B service to $36,825 in monthly recurring revenue, which was actually a $10,000 in MRR increase from the last 30 days. I'll show you exactly how we did this and what was responsible for this massive jump you see right here. So despite being in an extremely boring niche, we were still able to grow his personal brand. And as you can see here, 20,000 followers and over 2.6 million impressions. At the time of recording, this is probably more like 3 million now. So I'll reveal the exact content formula we used to do that later in the video, but let's start with our copy and paste funnel strategy. First of all, we started by posting daily on LinkedIn. So the whole goal with this is to position ourselves as an authority and also make people trust us and think, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. And there's two main places where people go from here: the LinkedIn profile and the weekly lead magnets. I'll get into the LinkedIn profile first. So with any post that you see, if people think it's good, they're likely to check out your profile. From here, there's 3 different places they can go to. Number 1, the custom button. Here, we just push to the calendar. You could push to your landing page as well, or your funnel with a VSL. Number 2 and 3 would be your feature section and them just messaging you. With these two, we decided to just push to an email list. So later down the line, we could nurture them and then convert them into whatever offer we decide to run. But something I didn't talk about was every single week, we would make a lead magnet. So this would be a valuable resource that we would say, hey, I just made a guide about this, comment this word, and I'll send it to you. So what happens is, imagine this is one commenter, he comments on the post, it then gets pushed out to his audience. Because the way LinkedIn works is if you comment on someone's post, they will push your comment along with the post to your connections. So you'll have all these connections, and if they see you commenting on the post, they're much more likely to comment on the post themselves. And then it just becomes this whole network effect where it goes super, super viral. And what we would do with the lead magnets is we wouldn't just directly send them the resource in the DMs. We would actually make them sign up to the email list. And then from there, they would get sent an email with the link. That way, we're actually capturing their emails as well. So we can actually use those in the future and once again, nurture them further and then build trust with them even more. And then later down the line, sell. So once we had all these emails from the profile and from the lead magnets, we pushed to 3 weekly emails. These would typically be valuable emails. Usually one would be focused on selling and the other 2 would be more value focused. And at the end of every email, we would have a P.S call to action, which would push to our front-end offer. Our front-end offer in this case was a $100 workshop. Now, what is the point of a front-end offer? Well, the whole psychology behind it is that if somebody buys from you once, they're more likely to buy from you again. And there's a lot of people that they just want free stuff and they're never going to buy from you in the first place. But if they've already paid you money once and you over deliver on the front end offer, they're so much more likely to buy the back end offer. So we essentially want a low barrier to entry, cheap, low risk front end offer to just bring people in, get them used to paying you, and then we can sell them on the thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars recurring service. So what would happen as well is with the custom button, if there's the very high intent people where they don't necessarily need to buy an $100 workshop, they just want to go straight to you and buy the service straight away, we would funnel them to the Calendly where then you would have a call with them. Obviously, if they're not qualified enough for the core recurring service, you can still downsell them onto the $100 workshop. But assuming that they are high intent and they have the budget to buy the core recurring service, you can just skip the workshop and you can speed up the sales cycle and just push to the core recurring service. The thing about the workshop is that typically you only solve one thing for them. And once you solve that one thing, 3 new problems arise for them. And that's exactly where you need to be there and straight away just push them to your core recurring service. Because there's going to be people which, as soon as they've completed that, they're ready. They're looking for the next thing. So you just need to tell them where to go. Okay. And that's where you push them to the core recurring service. But then the other option is some people, they might just not buy straight away. And then afterwards, we'll run email sequences to all these people who did buy the workshop, but they haven't upsold. And we'll tell them like, hey, look, we're actually launching this new service, or we've just opened up capacity for this new service. And over the next couple of weeks, we can give them discounts. We can use scarcity and say things like, oh, look, capacity's running out. And basically just kind of converting whoever's left that's somewhat interested and needs more help with the core recurring service. And this, at the end of the day, is where you're going to make most of your money. Now, a very important thing we need to understand is the content positioning, because this is what allows us to get all of the traffic and all of the high quality traffic. And the main thing is we had to make a boring niche irresistible, which is not easy. We posted three main things, right? Uncommon insights, so things they hadn't heard before that were valuable, actionable, and results based. Client transformations, which is basically proof that this works and literally showing them people in similar situations to them. So in most industries, there's like some myths and some misconceptions. If you can come in and basically break them down with proof, you're going to be positioned as an authority above all the other people which have been following this misconception and been posting about it, right? You can kind of, it's a very easy way for you to get above all of your competition. And our content made people rethink their entire approach. And then they just had to start chasing us. And that's where all the inbound started coming in. But actually, I wanted to get into the specific content formula we used, specifically for the lead magnets, which generated about 80% of the lead flow. So the first thing was the main pain point. So you pick one pain point. Most people, most ICPs, and most services solve a few different pain points. So for example, with LinkedIn lead generation, I'm solving, okay, number one, nobody knows your brand. Number two, maybe low close rates from cold leads. And number three, just simply not enough volume of leads. These are three different pain points. I could pick one. I could say the volume of leads. Let's fix this. This is the easiest one to fix, right? Just getting them top of funnel traffic, just getting them as many leads as possible. So then I would make a resource, which would be the solution to this problem. So it would be like the guide on how to generate X number of leads a month on LinkedIn, right? That's a very general version, but you get the idea. And number three would be backing it up with social proof. So we could turn it into like a case study, or we could say something like, hey, I've generated this many leads with LinkedIn. Now I'm giving away a guide on how to generate this many leads consistently every single month with LinkedIn. So I thought I'd show you an example post from the client. So this was our social proof. So this was number three. And this is where we say, I'm an X8-figure agency COO. This instantly, when people see this, they're like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about when it comes to operations. Like, not many people are chief operations officers at $10 million agencies, and especially for multiple years. Like, this is a very high barrier to entry type of social proof where not many people can even compare to this. And then right here, we have the pain point. So we're talking about the issue with most agency owners, which is that they're working in the business rather than on the business, and that they're not very able to easily scale without any headaches, without chaos. And then the second thing is the resource, which is the whole solution to this, where we kind of give away this blueprint to a 500K a month agency operations. And it feels like a very copy and paste framework, which is going to solve the pain point that we've addressed and that we've proven we can solve, right? So it all comes together. And with the resource, I would recommend using Notion because, as you can see here, it makes it seem really valuable with all these different pages. And then plus, you have the icons, which is just going to add a little bit more of visual appeal. And then it's just a very clean, organized format. As you can see here, we've got about 1,000 likes and 4,000 comments. That's about 4,000 leads. And probably about 80% of those are converted into email subscribers. Like from one LinkedIn post, that's pretty good. And that's kind of the content formula as a whole. And you can replicate this for all the different pain points, make solutions for all of them, and use, the same or different social proof each time. And in his own words, in the last 3 months, Paolo has created multiple lead magnets for me that generated between 2,000 to 4,000 leads each in the most boring niche ever, rating it a 10 out of 10. Not many people can even compare to these types of results, and it's really what sets us apart from all the competition. Now, I've given you the whole formula that you can copy here, but if you don't want to do it yourself, or you're just too busy, or you just want the experts to handle it and get your results fast, then there's going to be a link in the description for you to check out. And let me know if you have any questions in the comments.